But what I'm not going to do is to validate some notion that the Republican crackup that's been taking place is a consequence of actions that I've taken. And I what's interesting, I'll just say one last thing about this. There are thoughtful conservatives who are troubled by this, who are troubled by the direction of their party. I think it is very important for them to reflect on what it is about the politics they've engaged in that allows the circus we've been seeing to transpire, and to do some introspection, because ultimately I want an effective Republican Party. I think this country has to have responsible parties that can govern and that are prepared to lead and govern, whether they're in the minority or in the majority, whether they occupy the White House or they do not. And I've often said I want a serious, effective Republican Party, in part to challenge some of the blind spots and dogmas in the Democratic Party. I think that's useful. You mentioned trade, for example. I believe that there have been bad trade deals on occasion in the past, that oftentimes they have served the interests of global corporations but not necessarily served the interests of workers. But I'm absolutely persuaded that we cannot put up walls around a global economy, and that to sell a bill of goods to the American people and workers that if you just shut down trade somehow your problems would go away, prevents us from actually solving some of these big problems about inequality and the decline of our manufacturing base and so on. And that's an area where some traditional conservatives and economists have had some important insights. But they can't be presented effectively if it's combined with no interest in helping workers and busting up unions and providing tax breaks to the wealthy, rather than providing help to folks who are working hard and trying to pay the bills. And certainly is not going to be heard if it's coupled with vehement anti-immigrant sentiment that betrays our values. So, okay. I think that the Democratic voters are doing just fine working this out. I think it's useful that we've had a vigorous debate among two good people who care deeply about our country and who have fought hard on behalf of working people in this country for a long time. I think it's been a good conversation, and my most important role will be to make sure that after primaries are done, I'm bringing everybody together so that we focus on winning the general election.